I'm so sorry. It's cold outside, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's okay. I know you weren't expecting us, so I won't take up too much of your time. But we were just briefly sharing a thought from the Bible with our neighbors this morning.
Okay.
We know that there's much going on in the world today we see, and we wonder what our future is going to be like. Is that something you've ever thought about?
You know what? Actually, to be honest with you, I've seen a lot of things. I'm interested in talking to you. I've seen a lot of things on the news recently about your organization and like a lot of stuff that's been going on within it, and I kind of wonder how you come and you give a message and you want to share things from the Bible, and that's amazing, and you ask questions like the question you just asked, and it like triggers something I think in me and a lot of other people, like about the things that are going on within the organization with all the pedophilia and it not being shared with the authorities and things like that. And I kind of wonder the same about how you guys might feel
about things that happen like that
in your organization.
Right. And that's probably a common question. We think, like you said, you see in the news too, we see like the Catholic religion, things coming out now from things that happened in the past. What I do appreciate about Jehovah's Witnesses, which we're still imperfect people.
Yeah.
And that's definitely not an excuse for wrongdoing. The Bible talks about that. There's no excuse for that. I can't address any specific situation because
you don't know.
I don't really know. Well, even if I knew of a situation, I don't know the whole facts. Right. So it would just be speculation and opinion on my part. But really, when it comes down to it, it's what does the Bible say about those things? As far as wrongdoing and things like that, it's not tolerated. But like I said, the world we live in, we are imperfect.
Right, everywhere. It's everywhere. There's a lot of stuff going on everywhere. And I guess one of the things that like really concerns me is like with religious settings altogether, the fact that even you brought up the Catholic religion, and you're really right. I've seen a lot of things come out about that organization and things of the same thing happening. But what a clean type of organization, how they handle it is everything, I think. And it's been really disgusting for me to see, like the Catholic religion, how they handle it and how it's like covered up and how it's a constant thing. And now it seems like it's becoming the same thing with your organization. And I think that on the outside, the way that witnesses portray, their organization being so clean and so caring and so loving and so, like family, and then it coming out that it's not, and then it coming out that the elders are covering it up, and it's coming out that there are lists of pedophiles that are being hidden, and that the federal government or the courts of law are asking for them to divulge this information, and they're refusing to do so, and so they're continuing to try to cover these things up. Is that something that you're even aware of on the congregational type level?
Well, I'm not sure about the specific thing you're talking about. Was it like a news segment? Or
it's just kind of something I've been following because I do have family members that are in the organization. Okay. And I know that there's a law called I think it's like SP. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna lose it right now because I'm talking to you. But like, where some people that were in the organization are really fighting to be protected because things have happened to them.
Yeah.
And how there are higher ups in the organization who set forth certain types of laws that protect, like the 2-witness rule, that kind of a thing. Like where, when is a child going to ever be?
Well, and I think that's where you have the he said, she said kind of thing. Like I said, I don't know about the specific situation you're talking about, but I know from what I'm aware of and what has been said and talked about and even in printed form on our website is that if any allegations ever come forth, there's no reason to ignore those. Obviously, someone is speaking up for a reason. there's no stopping the person or the individual from going to the authorities. They've made that very plain in public talks that we've had, and like I said, printed information. So a lot of times it's hard to, because not discrediting anything that was said or happened, but it's always two sides of the story. And I mean, it is unfortunate when things like that happen, because yes, the organization, we strive our best to live by Bible principles, and those who do not agree with that, they're not considered Jehovah's Witnesses. There's something wrong with those people that have taken advantage of the young ones, taken advantage of their position.
I
and
agree.
I mean, we're, as parents, I mean, I have a great nephew that I have guardianship over. Yes, we are a family, but as a parent, you still watch for certain things and certain people
True.
that I wouldn't feel comfortable to be my kid, and that's my personal thing. So I mean, as parents and as everybody else in the congregation should be on the lookout for things like that. So
Yeah.
I mean, I completely agree with you. It's satanic, and I say that because it really does not originate with God.
Right.
That is not okay in his eyes.
Right. I'm glad to hear you say that, because it's kind of scary. Like, on the outside, well, we're not on the inside. We don't really know what's going on. But then also to wonder, like, I wonder what what you, like, the people in the congregation, I wonder what they think. I wonder how they feel about some of the stuff that's going on. I wonder, like, if they ever question, like, what's happening here within this, organization, or is it all just smoothed over? But it's refreshing to hear that, like, even you with your own child, it's not just, you don't just let them be, you still pay attention, you still watch, you still are caring for them individually. Even though you're a part of this organization, it's still your utmost job to take care of them, and that's refreshing to hear. But I also had another question. Like, I remember when, just a long time ago, dealing with, like, family members and things like that, and a lot of excuse me, just fears that they had as children, like, growing up within the organization, thinking that they were going to die, and that, like, all their friends, like, outside the organization are going to die, and just growing up being so, like, fearful, like, seeing these magazine articles and things like that, where there's, like, fire coming down from the heavens, and people, like, so afraid. Like, I mean, it just, like, kind of seems abusive to me, as, like, to teach your children, like, don't have any friends outside of our organization because they're gonna all die, or, like, is that how it is?
No, I'm sorry, and I don't mean to laugh, because it's not. I mean, it's obviously something that's serious to you, but it's.
I mean, they've stuck with me.
Yeah.
It stuck with me, and it's not even. It was family members who were seeing it, and it stuck with me, and I'm just like, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Excuse me, baby.
And then one of the things too that I appreciate, because I've grown up in the truth. I mean, my mom and dad have been witnesses and raised me in the truth, and ultimately was my decision when I recognized, when I've come to read the Bible and understand what it requires of me, and that's a personal decision that I made to become one of Jehovah's Witnesses. But it is that there's not anything in the Bible that says we're not judges and jurors. That's left up to Jehovah and Jesus. They're the ones that say, okay, well, this person qualifies for this, or this person doesn't. They have the ability to read hearts. We don't.
Right.
So we can say whatever. I mean, not whatever, but I mean,
you can have your own
think
feelings
that,
and
right,
opinions, but
exactly.
it's not
and
up to you.
It's so hard too with family, because I mean, I have unbelieving family members who I still associate with and spend time with, but it's not something that they've chosen to make a part of their life, and that's their own choice.
And is that okay with you? Are you like,
that's
what about somebody, like, what if you have a family member that is no longer a part of the organization, that is, like, shunned, like, then, like, what is it called, where you guys don't talk to them anymore?
Okay, so if they no longer choose to,
what if they were a part of it, and then they've had a change of heart for some reason, and maybe it's not anything bad, maybe it's just something in them tells them something's not right with, and it could be, like, religions, people change the way they believe all the time, but it seems like there's a big, like if you had a family member that was no longer, they chose not to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore, how would you treat that?
Well, the situation depends in every circumstance, because it's really all about how you leave it. There are people that were once associated with Jehovah's people, and then for whatever reason, you said change of heart or whatever circumstances, have pulled away, but maybe they now talk bad about Jehovah and what he asks of us. That's, personally, I wouldn't want to associate with someone that's having negative feelings towards the way I live my life, as would anybody. I mean, you wouldn't want to associate with friends who would maybe always criticize, the things that you're doing in your life, maybe whether it's with your kids or your job or whatever, but you wouldn't personally put yourself surrounding them, because it's not a building for you. But like I said, I mean, it is different in every situation. Some people just choose to walk away,
isn't it like you can't you get in trouble with like your higher ups if you decide to associate with somebody that is shunned? If you like, no matter, let's say they did something wrong and they got kicked out, is it your personal choice?
But see, that's the thing, and I think that's where the confusion too is. It's not that they kicked out. They've been sat down and talked to, and look, this has been brought to our attention. Is this something that you're willing to work on to be in line with what God is asking of us, not men?
Right.
And if the person has a choice, they say, I do really want to work on this. This is something that maybe I see as, maybe I need help with.
Right.
Or, I'm going to do what I want to do, and that's my thing. That's their choice. They will no longer be carrying Jehovah's name, because then why is it that you have this one Jehovah's Witness who does all these things not in line with the Bible, but then you have everybody else doing what's in line with the Bible? So that's why I said it's a case by case. I've been disfellowshipped. That was on me at a time in my life where I was not interested in taking what God was asking me to do, to live my life in line with what he has as far as principles, and they're only to benefit us. They don't benefit God.
But did your mom stop talking to you at that point?
Well, and that's the difference too. When you have family members and you have to take care of family dealings, like my mom got sick, I had to help her.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So it really, like I said, the situation it's going to be different every time. You can't cross the board say this is black and white. It's going to be different every time. I still had dealings with my family because, like I said, she was in the hospital. Then my dad had a heart problem. So those familial things, when you are in a family, it doesn't.
I think you got lucky. I think you got lucky, because there are a lot of families out there that I've heard about that once they're, did you say disfellowshipped out of their organization, and they don't get to have dealings with their family. And I've seen a lot of things too where there's been like a lot of suicides and things like that, because they are cut off they were never allowed to have anything to do with worldly people, for one, and then they're ousted out of an organization that they thought was their family, and even their own family members can't speak to them or talk to them or have anything to do with them, and then they end up, they feel like they have nothing left. And so I feel like all in all, there's like so many things that are like, I don't know, that just feel unsettling about the organization in itself. But I so appreciate you stopping by and even like taking the time to explain these things, because I've had these kinds of questions for a long time. But I think a lot of witness people get really upset, like when you start to ask questions that like that challenge, their belief system or what they're taught, and they don't take the time to explain. And so that it leaves like something in you that, is like, what do we do now? Like, we don't know what's going on. We don't get the answers. We can't ask these questions to the Jehovah's Witnesses without them getting mad at us. Yeah. So I appreciate you answering the questions.
I'm glad that you did ask, because, like you said, not everybody, don't you think you'd rather have an answer kind of like from the horse's mouth, I guess you could say, as opposed to maybe having...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I
appreciate that.
Like you do your research and go online.
I do all kinds of research on all kinds of things, yes.
So I don't know if you've had a chance to check out the website, but what's great about it is that it has a search bar up top, and you can actually put in any question.
Okay.
And it brings up not only articles, but what the Bible has to say about it, and then directs you into your own copy of the Bible. I don't know. Do you read the Bible or have your own version that you are comfortable with?
I think for the most part at this point, I've kind of started to go away from the Bible. I just feel like, and this is just my own, I feel like over time, things have been changed so much that even though I'm sure we can derive the truth from the Bible or some parts of it, I feel like a lot has been lost.
Okay.
And so I feel like in all of that loss, it's like, am I being led in the right direction or am I being misled? So I kind of stay away from it, and I go a lot more with what I align with, spiritually, myself, what feels right, what doesn't feel right, because we do have an intuition within ourselves that will lead us in the right direction if we only listen to it. That gut feeling you get, all those times you're like, I should listen to it. So I kind of go with that because it's kind of more of a spiritual thing for me.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. And that was another question that I had too, is your Bible is so, it's different. Why would it be, why change it? Why make it different?
I like this definition. For me, the New World Translation is the most up-to-date modern Bible for us in our time. And I say that without the meaning that anything's been changed from its original meaning. So yes, the verbiage, I don't know if the King James version has a lot of thee and thy and thou, and sometimes the meaning gets lost within the verse. So obviously God left it for us so that we can understand it and benefit from it. So I like how the New World Translation has just translated it into modern language. So the thought hasn't changed.
It's so weird to hear you say that, because I had attended a meeting at one point with somebody, and I remember hearing somebody from the stage say that very exact thing, and I was a small child. So it is something that is taught, you guys are taught that it's the most correct version with the most understood. I've heard that a lot of times. There's never been another definition or explanation ever given.
And then that's my own research, because when I do my own personal study, I not only use the New World Translation, but I will look at the Byington version and the King James version, because sometimes the way it's said, the thought just becomes more understood when you're able to see it. The verse in
without the these and thous or right. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, so it's just, you can get to know God from any translation of the Bible. It's just you need his help to do it too. But I really encourage you to check out the website.
Okay.
And maybe I can come back another time and see how
sure.
If you have any other questions.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I'm so excited that you guys are even willing to answer, questions that aren't, I don't know, that are different or that are challenging for you. I appreciate that. So thank you.
My name was Raquel, and this is my mom, Loopy.
Hi.
And
Amber.
Amber, nice to meet you. Okay.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Loopy.
Have some friends waiting for us.
I think there's some witnesses that live across the street over there too.
Yeah, we met her. She's they're in the Spanish congregation.
Are they? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's what my little boy goes. Mom, one time the moon or the sun was kind of, or I think it was the moon was really red or something. Something was with the sky, and he goes, Mom, they said that the sky is beautiful because Jehovah made it that way. And I was like, oh, okay, they're witnesses.
It's a good marker.
All right, have a good day. Thank you.